Welcome back to Unmasking Me, the podcast where we dive deep into self discovery, growth, and all the messy, beautiful lessons life throws our way. I am your host, Michelle Anduru, and we are taking a reflective stroll through the whirlwind of 2024. I'm going to share lessons that I learned during my 2024. So, buckle up. This one is the ride. Now, I know I say that to every episode of mine, but you gotta give me that. You got to give me that. So let's start with the big one: boundaries and self respect. I used to think that setting boundaries made me selfish. That is what I used to think. And it is sad. It's a sad thing. But here's the truth: every time I wasn't strict with my boundaries, I paid the price. And when I say I paid the price, I'm talking about emotional bankruptcy. Yeah. Boundaries are like your personal velvet rope. It's not about being exclusive, it's about preserving your peace. When you prioritize your well being, you might ruffle up a few feathers. But the alternative, and right when I'm talking about alternative, I'm talking about the burnout, resentment, and losing yourself. Is that a price you are willing to pay? Because I am not. With this economy, I am not ready to pay that price. Picture this, yeah? You are an all you can eat buffet. You are starving, but you decide to take tiny portions to leave room for everyone else. Mm. By the time you sit down, you're still hungry, and everyone else is already eaten to their fill. That's what life feels like without boundaries. So, are you gonna protect your plate or you're gonna be the good person? Okay, I'm not supposed to say good person, but you get the gist. Yeah. And you can also think of boundaries like this. I know you guys have heard of Hawaiian pizza, the pizza that has pineapples. I personally love that pizza. That's my favorite pizza. Some people will get it, yeah, and others will try to convince you it's a crime. But guess what? Your pizza, your rules. The second thing I have learned is emotional intelligence. It sounds fancy, but I'm gonna break it down. It's more of sensitivity, the urgency, and yes, a little bit of emotional turbulence. You wanna know the hardest part? Being emotionally aware of yourself. That is the hardest part. You can read someone else's mood like a weather app, but your own storms, another story, it's a whole other story. And I've realized like we're trying to navigate a maze where you're both an architect and the runner. I mean, there's something I usually do. It's called mindfulness in the present moment. It's about sitting with yourself, observing your emotions without judgment, and recognizing that feelings will pass. The more you practice this, the less power the storms will have over you. But let me be honest with you. It is not easy as it sounds. I might be talking, but I can't even get myself to even say, like, oh, it's going to be easy. You're just going to do this, do that. No, it's not easy. But one thing I can guarantee to you, it's worth it. It is worth it. The third thing I came to learn, and this was one of my hardest lessons this year, is self love and progress. Here's a gem I held on to this year, and I read it from a book. You haven't met all the people who are going to love you. I repeat, you haven't met all the people who are going to love you. Let that sink in. We are so hard on ourselves for not having everything figured out. And we forget that life is not a checklist, it is a beautiful journey. And this is on a side note, yeah. The reason why we fall in love with people is that there is a part of them that triggers something within us. Our feelings for these people, for them, will always tell us something about ourselves. I have realized, this is a self reflection, I have realized that what I like about this particular person is really something I didn't have to throw away, or what triggers me is something I inherently have and it's no longer about them. That is the hardest truth. What we seek from others, we are truly depriving ourselves of. Think about that. And I have learned to give myself grace and celebrate the quiet progress, the moments no one sees but me. Yeah, I think it's quite a beautiful thing. And can we talk about drowning for others? Mm-hmm. Stop giving so much of yourself to people who wouldn't even deep at all in water for you. Yes, I repeat, stop giving so much of yourself to people who would not even dip at all in the water for you. Relationships, whether friendships or romantic, yeah, should be mutual. It's like trying to pour water into a sieve. Water into a sieve. I mean, it's draining and frankly pointless. Yo. Now, here's the better part, yeah? If that has not sunk in your brain, this will. It's like trying to share an umbrella with someone who keeps walking out of from under it. You know what? Let them get wet. Your job is to stay dry. Why are you being Bob the Builder? Uh-huh. The fourth thing I came to learn, this was a hard pill to swallow, and it's still something I am going through, is grief and healing. And when I say grief, I mean grief isn't evidence of failure, just so you know. It is a testament of how deeply you have loved and lived. And befriending grief does not mean you like it, it means you respect it. And there is something known as impermanence. And I am here to tell you for free, life is impermanent. Grief is part of the ebb and flow, like waves in the ocean. Sometimes they knock you off your feet, other times they gently remind you of your depth. So I have learned to celebrate my grief as proof that I dared to care. So you can do the same. And the truth about healing, healing is not linear, like everyone says. Oh, I have healed. Oh, I have healed. And I'm like, really? Have you? It is more of a spiral. And some days you feel like you have conquered the world, and others you feel like you're back to square one. And the trick is to keep moving forward regardless, to sit in the pain, understand its source, and bravely cut off its supply. Oh, this one is a good one. The fifth thing I have learned, or I am sharing, is the law of detachment. Mastering the law of detachment was a game changer for me. It's all about allowing myself and others the freedom to just be. Call this a non attachment because we basically get attached to almost everything. It doesn't mean indifference, it means choosing peace over control, observe without absorbing, feel without clinging. You know, not everyone's chaos is your circus. And baby, you are certainly not a clown. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. The sixth one, true connections. This I tell you for free. Spend time with people who uplift you, the ones who reinforce your self esteem, encourage your growth, And yes, occasionally make you laugh so hard. You know, those are your people. Let go of the rest. Positive influences are like sunlight, they help you grow even in the cloudy days. And this is something I have come to practice. I have lost people who were special in my life, but I did have a reason in the end of the day. Yeah. The second thing I have come to learn in 2024 is love, value, and understanding. One of my biggest lessons this year. Yeah. And this is a take home. Never beg for love. Never beg for love because you are somebody's answered prayer. Value yourself, walk away from the nonsense, and trust that whatever you seek as a person in others is something you can nurture in yourself. I hope that has sunk in. And because we're in the topic of love, there is a difference between a companion and a partner. Mm-hmm. There is a big difference between a companion and a partner. And what most of us run to is we are looking for a companion. Let me clear the room. Yeah? Anyone can take you to the movies, or anyone can go with you to the movies. Anyone can go with you to the gym. Anyone can go to you to those late night drives. Anyone can cuddle you up. Anyone can go to a restaurant with you. Anybody can go for walks with you. Companionship is easy. And we mostly say companionship instead of a partnership. And partnership is the hardest thing you can actually seek in a person. I'm not going to dive deep into that, but yeah, people say lack of, not even lack of, people say what kills a relationship is cheating, communication. What else? What else have I heard people say? Yeah, I think basically those are the major two. But personally, what I think kills a relationship is lack of vision. Lack of vision. Hear me out. You are a single person. You have a vision. You have what you want and what you need in this particular relationship. And this is another single person with his or her own values and, you know, goals, needs, and you come together. And what you're doing is colliding, seeking companionship instead of partnering up, leveling up your vision, saying what is what, this is this, and this is that, and finding a common ground together. I mean, but that is a topic for another day. Yeah. Here's the thing, deep down, we know where we stand with people, but we cling to hope, thinking they will change, which is so sad. Let's stop blurring those lines. Yeah. Trust your intuition. It's the quiet voice that speaks the loudest truth. And finally, the eighth thing, let go and reset. Unplug from the world once in a while. Reset yourself. Spend time with people who support you and uplift you. And like I said, positive influences fuel personal growth and help you to stay grounded. Here's a tip, what you don't change, you're choosing. You can complain about life, you can complain about the lecturer, you can complain about school, about work, you name it. But you're not changing it, you're choosing it. So choose wisely. 2024 taught me that life is a constant dance between holding on and letting go. Healing is messy, very messy, but necessary. Growth is painful, but very beautiful. Oh, and the idea that you're sitting with it, you're listening to me, and you have this big idea, and you just don't know what to do with it. I am telling you for free, start it. Start it. I am here trying to build my personal brand, my personal tech brand for my tech company. I am here. I launched a podcast that I have been postponing for over 2 years. So, I mean, if I can do it, then you can. And through it all, remember to stay kind, stay soft, and keep unmasking the real you. Thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection. Until next time, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and don't forget your story is worth unmasking.